My name is Noelle Carter. What unfolded at my sister's wedding still circulates through the business community like a cautionary tale. Imagine 200 guests in a grand ballroom, my mother's hand striking my face so hard, my diamond earrings skittered across the marble, all because I refused to surrender the keys to my $2 million penthouse during the reception speeches. An hour later, when the CEO who controls 40% of my father's company walked in, my mother's scream carried 3 floors up, and he had a very specific response to what he'd just watched on a live stream. Before diving in, feel free to like and subscribe only if stories about standing one's ground actually resonate. Where are you watching from? Drop your location and local time in the comments. Those are read. Now, back to the morning when this was supposed to be a flawless day. I arrived at the Grand View Hotel at 8 a.m., 3 hours before the ceremony, the ballroom dressed in white roses and gold, the exact tableau my sister Natalie imagined since we were kids. I'd put $50,000 toward making her day perfect, though that detail never makes the speeches. "Noelle, finally," my mother, Elaine, said, scanning me from head to toe. "That dress. Couldn't you choose something more feminine? You look like you're headed to a board meeting, not your sister's wedding." I smoothed the navy silk. Elegant, appropriate, and yes, entirely office-ready if needed. "Good morning to you too, Mom." "Natalie looks radiant," she continued, skipping my greeting. "A proper bride. She glows." The comparison was rote by now. For 32 years I'd been too ambitious, too independent, too masculine in taste. Natalie was the princess sweet, traditional, the archetype they'd always wanted. "Noelle, check the seating?" My father Thomas called. "But don't reorganize everything like you always do." I swallowed a retort. Divorced exes sat together. Business rivals shared tables. Fixing it would only confirm I'm difficult. What they didn't know, what I'd never given them, was that I wasn't some middle manager. I was vice president of development at Hayes Capital, running our Asia-Pacific expansion. In this family, that's just more proof I'm too career-focused, too independent, too much like the son they never had. "Of course, Dad," I said, leveling my tone. "I'll make sure it's perfect for Natalie." "Family comes first, Noelle," he added beside me as I straightened a crooked centerpiece. "You'll understand when you have your own family, if you ever settle down." The jab was aimed and landed. At 32, my being unmarried was apparently a larger failure than any professional success could counter. "Richard, leave her alone," Aunt Marianne chimed in, with amusement more than defense. "Not everyone gets lucky like Natalie Truelove so young." Relatives whispered their running commentary. Still no ring on Noelle's finger. All that time in the city, shouldn't she have met someone by now? Poor Elaine, at least Natalie will give her grandchildren soon. My cousin Kyle smirked from across the room. "Hey, Noelle, maybe if you spent less time in boardrooms and more time in normal rooms you'd have a +1. Laughter trickled. I could have said I dated 3 men this year who couldn't stomach dating someone more successful. I could have said being single is a choice, not a failure. Why waste breath? She's very particular, my mother told anyone within range, always too picky for her own good. So, "Noelle," Aunt Linda trilled during pre-ceremony mingling, "how's that little apartment of yours? Must be cozy." "It's a penthouse," I corrected softly. The cluster erupted in laughter. "A penthouse? Oh, Noelle City fantasies," Linda said, wiping tears. "She exaggerates," Natalie glided in, gleaming in her gown. "Last year she said she was buying a Tesla. Imagine." I had bought a Tesla. It sat outside, but I smiled instead. "Noelle's always been ambitious." My mother sighed, as if ambition itself were a flaw. Really too ambitious. "There's nothing wrong with a modest apartment," Uncle Frank added patronizingly. "Not everyone can afford luxury." My phone buzzed with a concierge notice for tomorrow's delivery to my 4,500-square-foot penthouse on the 45th floor floor-to-ceiling glass that swallowed the skyline, bought in cash after I closed Singapore. I could have shown them the Architectural Digest spread, but that would have been begging for their validation. "You're right, Uncle Frank," I said. "No shame in living within your means." "See?" Natalie's laugh tinkled. She's being realistic. Finally. I stood by the window, the city cut in gold across the glass, and thought about the decade it took to climb. 80-hour weeks, red eyes, deals that made the Financial Times. That penthouse wasn't a trophy. It was a promise kept to the girl they ignored. Every square foot was earned with my work. If I handed it away on command, I'd be confirming their narrative. I'm the family ATM, a permanent backup plan propping up the golden child. Our Natalie is everything a mother could want. I heard Elaine boasting to a ring of guests, graceful, caring, a volunteer at the children's hospital, and now a model wife. Perfect teaching degree, perfect engagement, perfect charity work. Not once did my name appear. I had transferred $50,000 months ago when Dad mentioned costs were ballooning. I leveraged contacts to land Natalie's wedding in a top bridal magazine. I upgraded their honeymoon suite with points. Invisible, like a ghost that only materializes when needed. Such a beautiful family, someone purred. You must be so proud of your daughter. We are, Dad replied, arms snug around Mom. Natalie's made us so happy. Daughter, singular. I turned away, just as Dad's voice dropped a fraction. After the toast, he told Mom, we'll make the announcement about the penthouse. You're sure Noelle will agree? Mom whispered. She won't have a choice, he said. Not in front of everyone. She won't make a scene. My blood went cold. This wasn't generosity. It was an ambush. What does she need a penthouse for? Mom added. It's not like she has a family to fill it. The casual cruelty hollowed something old and deep, and also sharpened me. I wasn't playing their game. If you felt invisible in your own family-like achievements, get erased unless they serve a script type. I see you in the comments. I see you. Your success counts whether they clap or not. What comes next is where private rot explodes on a public stage. Subscribe and set notifications if stories about choosing self-respect over approval matter. Let me know where you're watching from. Connecting with people who know that sometimes the hardest fights are with those who should have had our backs means more than you'd think. The reception thrummed when Dad tapped his spoon to the flute. The band faded, 200 faces tilted up. Before we continue, he boomed, Elaine and I want to give Natalie and Ethan something special. My stomach sank. As you all know, family means everything to us. He beamed. There's nothing we wouldn't do for our children's happiness. Children, plural, his eyes glued to Natalie. That's why we're thrilled to announce that Noelle has graciously agreed to give Natalie her city penthouse as a wedding gift. Applause broke like surf. Natalie lifted a hand to her heart, feigning surprise, the small smile betraying she already knew. Ethan threaded an arm around her, grinning. Oh my God, Noelle, she said into her mic. Are you serious? The penthouse? Every eye turned. I held my glass, pulse steadying. They'd choreographed this to leave me monstrous if I refused. Noelle, come up, Dad beckoned. Let's have the family together for this special moment. The room warmed with approving smiles and shining eyes. I clocked my boss's wife at table 12, 3 clients at table 8, my network seated throughout, waiting for the generous sister act. This wasn't a request. It was a public execution of my autonomy. I set down the flute and rose. The murmurs collapsed to quiet. I'm sorry, what? The room didn't need a mic to hear me. Dad's smile buckled. Your penthouse, sweetheart, for Natalie and Ethan. This wasn't disgust, I said evenly. Whispers rippled. Don't be selfish, Dad said into the mic, ensuring the room absorbed it. Not on your sister's day. Dad, I said, this is inappropriate. We can discuss it privately. There's nothing to discuss, Mom cut in, seizing the mic. It's a family gift. It's my property, I said. I haven't agreed to anything. The whispers swelled. How could she? On her sister's wedding day, Natalie's eyes shined with perfectly timed tears. Noelle, I thought you wanted me to be happy. Your happiness doesn't require my home, I said. It's just a property, Dad boomed. You can buy another. Then you buy her one, I said. Gasps rolled. The photographer's shutter went into overdrive. "Noelle, please," Ethan said, pitching calm. "We'd take such good care of it." "I'm sure," I said, "but the penthouse isn't available." Mom's face warmed to plum. Dad flushed dangerously. Natalie's sweetness cracked something harder surfacing. "Come on, Noelle," Aunt Linda called. "It's family." "You don't even have a family to fill it," Uncle Frank added. "She needs it more." "She's starting a life," someone chimed. "What do you need all that space for?" Pressure pressed in from every side. "Be reasonable," Kyle shouted. "Stop being difficult." "It's not like you can't afford another place," Aunt Marianne added, "with your big, important job." The sarcasm stung stale and familiar. Even now they didn't believe. "That's generous of you to assume," I said, voice steady. "But my finances aren't a public topic." "Everything's money with you," Mom spat into the mic. "Your sister should matter more than property. If her happiness requires taking what's mine, we should re-examine that," I said. Booing creaked from the back. The flash strobed. I kept my hands loose at my sides. "I've negotiated with CEOs. I wasn't breaking here." "The penthouse is not available," I repeated. Clear, final. My clutch buzzed. 3 missed calls from A. Lee and a text that clenched my pulse. "Saw the live stream. On standby." I scanned the room and caught Ethan's younger brother Dylan, phone propped on a centerpiece, the red live halo blinking. "How many watched this train wreck in real time?" Another text. "Your call. Say the word. Andrew Lee Mentor, my CEO and, importantly, holder of 40% of my father's company." Dad had no idea his silent partner and his daughter's boss were the same man. We kept it compartmentalized for exactly a moment like this. "Put your phone away," Mom snapped. "This is family time." "Apparently it's also public entertainment," I said, nodding at the live feed. "Your son-in-law's family is broadcasting the coercion." Dylan yanked the phone, too late. I texted Andrew, "Wait for my signal," then tucked the phone back. "So dramatic." Natalie sighed into her mic, plying the victim role. "All this fuss over property. I thought my sister loved me enough to get my marriage started right." The crowd swallowed it. Poor Natalie, spurned by her cold sister. But I noticed Dad checking his phone repeatedly, his face blanching a shade lighter with each glance. The livestream had consequences he hadn't priced in. "You're trending," I murmured to Natalie. "Congratulations." A memory snapped into place from 6 months ago. Andrew insisting on a peculiar clause in my penthouse transfer. "Trust me," he'd said. "You want protection against third-party interference, especially family coercion." I'd laughed. Difficult, yes. Dangerous, no. He'd built an empire from nothing. He'd seen too many women pushed out of their assets by families who felt entitled to their wins. The penthouse had originally been corporate property, transferred as compensation. The paperwork was impeccable. Clause 15. 3 gave Hayes Capital the right to intervene if anyone tried to force me to surrender it under duress. This wasn't only property law, it was a shield for executives against exactly this play. "Noelle's always been stubborn," Dad was telling the room, trying to slap a glossy finish on it. "But family comes first, she knows that." "Family doesn't ambush each other," I said quietly, and the quiet caught the mics. The entire ballroom stilled, even the servers pausing with trays in mid-air. I thought of the documents in Andrew's safe ownership, governance, shareholder clauses, details that would reshape my father's world if he ever realized I wasn't just a VP. I was the one Andrew trusted to build the most profitable branch in the company. Mom descended from the head table like an avenging angel, the beaded gown throwing sparks as she stalked across the floor. "Noelle Carter," her voice boomed through the speakers. "You will not ruin this day. You will not embarrass this family." "I'm not the one creating a scene," I said. "We raised you better," she hissed, closing to 3 feet, the old floral perfume too sweet to breathe. "We gave you everything." "You gave Natalie everything," I said. "I earned what I have." "You ungrateful?" She caught herself for the audience, pasted on sugar. Sweetheart, just give your sister the keys. Such a small thing. No. The word hung like steel. Disbelief flickered to rage and humiliation in her face. You will do this, she whispered, a whisper the mic still caught. Now. No. You selfish, ungrateful girl, she exploded, voice cracking across the room. After everything we've done, you can't do one thing? You're a disgrace. And then she slapped me. The sound cracked through the ballroom's perfect acoustics, amplified by the mic she held. My diamond earring, a gift to myself after Singapore, cut a glittering arc and pinged onto marble 10 feet away. 200 people gasped into silence so deep it made my ears ring. I stood still, no hand to my cheek, no flinch feeling the heat spread. The photographer's camera stuttered and stopped. Children fell quiet. Mom's arm hung in midair like even she couldn't believe herself. The mirrored walls gave me everything. The welt rising on my cheek, Mom's shock, Dad half out of his chair, Natalie's hands pressed to her mouth, Dylan sneaking the phone back up. The earring lay where it fell, catching chandelier prisms. I crossed the floor heels, clicking in the hush, picked up the earring and refastened it. 30 seconds, 30 years. I smoothed my dress, faced my mother, her knuckles white around the mic. Excuse me, I said, voice even. I turned to the head table. Congratulations, Natalie. I hope your marriage brings you joy. I took my clutch and walked toward the doors, not rushing, not running, just leaving like I leave a boardroom. Noelle, Dad called. Noelle, wait. I didn't turn. The room erupted behind me. Outside, I dialed. Green light, I told Andrew. Understood, he said. How long do I have? 45 minutes to get home. Are you okay? I touched the burn on my cheek. Execute the contingency. Noelle, he started. Make sure you bring the shareholder agreement, the one Dad never read. With pleasure, he said. I ended the call as the elevator doors closed on my family's chaos. If the slap made your blood boil, I know the taste of public humiliation at the hands of those who should protect you. Sometimes the best response isn't fury, it's strategy. What follows is why you never underestimate someone you've pushed too far. If you believe in standing up for yourself, hit like. If you've had to set a hard boundary with family, type boundaries below. The shift is coming, the moment the invisible daughter sits with all the cards. 45 minutes later, in my penthouse with an ice pack on my cheek, Andrew texted, "Entering the building now." I changed into jeans and a soft sweater. Armor wasn't needed, the battle was already won, they just didn't know. Notifications cascaded. Dylan's live stream had over 500 shares. The slap was already a gif. I didn't care about virality, I cared about what was happening in that ballroom in real time. Andrew texted again, walking in. Thomas just saw me. I pictured it, the $10,000 suit, steel calm posture, 2 attorneys flanking him, the same Andrew Lee featured in Forbes, the same man my father had tried to meet for 6 months. Another text. His face went white. Your mother is screaming. My phone rang, unknown. You need to see this, Dylan whispered. Your dad looks like he'll pass out. This Chinese guy in a suit said your name and something about partnership agreements. Your mom screamed. Who is he? Someone who protects his investments, I said. Your dad keeps saying Mr. Lee. Is this the Lee? The one who owns... I hung up. Below me, the city glittered, peaceful, oblivious. In that ballroom, an empire shifted. Then Andrew called. You're on speaker, he said. The ballroom's hush carried. Thomas, his voice uncoiled, CEO authority. I need to clarify something for those present. Noelle isn't just some employee at Hayes Capital, she's our Vice President of Development, managing Asia Pacific. A sharp intake of air from the room. Impossible, my father croaked. The Singapore deal that netted $40 million, Noelle led it. The Tokyo office, that's our most profitable branch. Noelle built it. The Samsung partnership your company wanted a piece of? Noelle negotiated it. You're lying, my mother screeched. Mrs. Carter, Andrew said coolly, your daughter is one of the most valuable executives in this city. The penthouse you tried to take is part of her executive compensation, protected by terms that activate when anyone tries to coerce a transfer. The live stream watched by 20,000 people tonight shows exactly that. 20,000? Someone breathed. Furthermore, Andrew continued, as someone who owns 40% of your company, Thomas, I'm deeply concerned about your judgment. Publicly attempting to take from your daughter, then allowing your wife to assault her. Serious questions about leadership follow. This is family business, Dad sputtered. The moment you made it public, you made it my business. Noelle, are you on? I'm here, I said. Would you like to press charges? The murmur thickened. Let me explain, Andrew said for the room. The footage shows assault and attempted coercion, under Clause 15. 3 of our shareholder agreement, the moral turpitude provision. I can call an emergency board meeting within 24 hours. I control 40%. The Jensen Trust holds 15%. They're very interested in this. Papers rustled. He'd laid documents on the head table. This is extortion, my mother shrieked. No, Andrew said. Extortion was your public demand. This is consequence management. Noelle, Dad pleaded, tell him to stop. This is too far. Too far? I said. Like slapping your daughter at a wedding isn't? You can't destroy our company. I'm not destroying anything, I said. I'm protecting my assets and dignity. Andrew is protecting his investment. Your behavior threatens that. That's on you. It's everywhere, someone whispered. Twitter, Facebook, the local news. Here's what happens, Andrew announced. Thomas, you have 48 hours to issue a public apology to Noelle, a real one. You'll acknowledge her achievements and her right to her property. Elaine, you'll do the same, and you'll stay away from Noelle. Or I exercise my options as a major shareholder. Your expansion depends on my capital. Without it, you're looking at bankruptcy in 6 months. This is my daughter's wedding, Mom howled. You can't do this here. You're right, Andrew said smoothly, which is why you have 48 hours to fix it. The penthouse remains Noelle's untouched. Any attempt at manipulation results in immediate legal action. She's our daughter, Dad said. Then treat her like one, Andrew snapped. Not like an ATM for your favorite child. Natalie sobbed into the mic. This was supposed to be my special day. It still is, Andrew replied. I'm leaving now, but the documents stay. Read them. Remember, Noelle isn't alone. Noelle? Natalie's voice trembled. How could you do this to me? I didn't do anything to you, I said. I refused to give you my home. The ambush, pressure, and slap were your parents' choices. The penthouse is mine, earned with my work. If you want one, earn one. You're cruel, she said. No, I'm finished being your family's sacrifice. Chairs scraped, voices swelled, then Andrew again, closer to the phone. The papers are served, the ball's in their court. Noelle, I'll see you Monday. The line clicked. In my penthouse, the city steady beneath me, I finally inhaled. My cheek throbbed. Something else lifted, 32 years of old weight. Within 2 hours, messages detonated. The video leapt platforms. Entitled Parents Demand Daughter's $2 Penthouse at Wedding trended on 3 networks. Natalie called 15 times. I didn't answer. Mom texted, You ruined everything. Guests are leaving. Are you happy now? Dad's. Different. We need to talk. Please. The most telling came from business. Jim Patterson concerned. David Kim wife insists we reconsider. Sarah Williams. We don't do business with people who hit their children. Contract terminated. That last one? $3 million a year? Gone. Ethan's family chat went feral. His mother. We're leaving. Disgraceful. His father wedding off until we understand this family. The event unraveled without me lifting a finger. Andrew texted, Your father is panicking. 3 more clients called. An anonymous message followed. Your mom fainted when she learned Andrew Lee is your CEO. They called paramedics. I opened the wine I'd saved for a good reason. If this wasn't one, what is? By Monday, the business community had picked sides. It wasn't close. The clip ricocheted through every major network. Successful daughter refuses bullying. CEO shields key executive from family exploitation. Dad's company lost 6 contracts. The 2-year expansion died. Without Andrew's capital, and with the exodus, he would have to downsize. Natalie's Bali honeymoon was canceled by Ethan's family, who demanded counseling before proceeding. Gifts were returned. Then Andrew called me in. "The board wants to promote you," he said. "Senior VP, Global Operations, Asia Pacific Performance, plus how you handled this. They're impressed." "I got slapped at a wedding," I said. "That impressed them? You held ground under extreme social pressure. You protected assets. You leveraged resources appropriately. Executives collapse under family pressure all the time. You didn't. You won." The promotion came with a 40% raise and stock options enough for another penthouse. I donated the bonus to a women's shelter for survivors leaving violent homes. It felt right. Dad's public apology arrived at hour 47, stilted, clearly lawyered, but sufficient an acknowledgement of inappropriate behavior, my achievements, and my rights. Mom refused. She went on a social rant calling me ungrateful, selfish, corrupted by corporate culture. Screenshots flew. The internet labeled the source problem plainly. A week later, Natalie texted, "You ruined my life. Ethan's family is making us do counseling. They say my family is toxic." "They're not wrong," I replied. "I hate you," she wrote. "I know," I answered. The clan split. Some insisted family first. Others DM'd me with their scapegoat stories. The ATM child, the invisible sibling, the never good enough. Kyle messaged an apology. Aunt Marianne said she was proud I stood up. Ethan messaged, "I didn't know about the ambush. I'd have stopped it. Your mother hitting you was assault. Plain and simple." I changed the locks the next day. Security got a banned list. My parents let it. "Good for you," said Peter, the doorman. My daughter went through something similar. Blood isn't always family. I blocked them quietly across socials, no statements, just distance. Work filled the space. The new role meant managing teams across 12 countries. Andrew became the mentor my father never was. "The best revenge is a life well lived without them," he said over coffee. 3 months later, an unknown number texted a photo of the wedding gift I finally sent, a certificate for 6 months of family therapy. "Insulting," the reply read. "Necessary," I answered and blocked. My home became what I designed it to be: sanctuary. Those windows remind me daily that I built something they can't reach. 6 months later, the dust settled into a reality that finally fit. I was thriving. The senior VP role led to a Forbes 40 Under 40 feature that ignored the wedding and focused on market expansion. Dad's company stabilized, but never regained altitude. He looked a decade older in half a year. Word filtered back that he started therapy too late for us, but something. Mom doubled down on her victim script. Most people had seen the video. They knew. Natalie's marriage lasted 4 months. Counseling exposed entitlement, avoidance, and an expectation that other people would fund her life. The divorce was quiet and final. She texted, "I hope you're happy. You got what you wanted." "I got what I earned," I replied. "There's a difference." The family I built at Hayes Capital became my real family. We celebrate wins, show up in losses, and no one asks me to shrink to make them comfortable. Andrew and his wife folded me into their dinners. His daughters, both in college, told me I proved they didn't have to dim themselves for anyone. That was worth more than any dusty performative approval. So here's the headline from a ruined wedding that saved a life. Blood doesn't make family, respect does. Success is an ode to people who never supported its cost. And sometimes the most powerful thing to say to toxic kin is nothing at all. My penthouse remains mine. Each sunrise through those windows is a receipt for the boundary I defended. It's not just property, it's proof I chose myself when everyone expected me to choose them. If family demands more than they give, takes credit they didn't earn, or expects you to set yourself on fire to keep them warm, hear this: your boundaries matter, your success is yours, and your peace outranks their approval. You don't owe your hard-won work to anyone because you share DNA. You don't have to accept disrespect for harmony, and you certainly don't have to tolerate abuse, physical, or the slow drip of 1,000 little cuts. The price of freedom is high. I lost my birth family. What I gained was worth it: self-respect, true relationships, and a life built on my terms. What boundary do you need to set today? Thank you for listening. If you've chosen self-respect over family approval, you're not alone. Comment boundaries matter if you believe in protecting yourself from toxic dynamics. Share this with someone who needs permission to choose themselves. Subscribe and hit the bell for more stories about building chosen family. Are you Team Noel for holding the line, or do you believe family should always come first? Tell me in the comments. Your peace is non-negotiable.